Good evening, everyone. I am Ruiz, and today I will present my first website entitled Networking Basics. For this activity, I converted the given website wireframe into a functional web page using semantic HTML and basic CSS. First, this is my project folder. It contains the index.html file, a CSS folder containing style.css, and an image folder containing the hero image used on the website. I will first explain my HTML code. At the top, I use the standard HTML document structure. Inside the head section, I added the web page title and link my external CSS file. For the top part of the web page, I use the semantic header element. Inside the header, I use a div with a class container. This helps organize and center the content. For the website logo or title, I use an H1 element with a text TechLearn Academy. Next, I created the navigation menu using the semantic nav element. Inside it, I use an unordered list, three list items, and anchor tags. The navigation links are home. After the header, I use the semantic main element to contain the primary content of the web page. Inside the main element, I created a section with a class hero. This represents the main content area based on the given wireframe. Inside the hero section, I use a container and the hero content area to organize the text and image into two sides. On the left side, I use an H2 element for the main heading, which is networking basics. Below the heading, I added a paragraph that says, learn how devices connect, communicate, and share information across networks using essential networking concepts and technologies. Below the paragraph, I added a Get Started button using an anchor tag with the class BTN. On the right side, I use the IMG element to display my networking basics hero image. The image is stored inside the image folder as hero.jpg. Lastly, for the HTML structure, I created a semantic footer using the footer element. Inside the footer, I use horizontal lines to match the appearance of the given wireframe. I also reuse the container class to keep the footer content properly organized. Next, I will explain my CSS code. First, I applied a CSS reset using the universal selector. I set the margin and padding to 0 and use box sizing border box. This helps remove default browser spacing and makes sizing easier to manage. For the body, I applied the font family, line height, background color, and text color to create a clean and readable web page. For the container, I use width, maximum width, and margin auto. This keeps the content centered and prevents it from becoming too wide. For the header layout, I use flexbox with display flex. I use justify content space between to place the logo on the left and navigation on the right. I also use align item center for vertical alignment. For the navigation list, I use list style none to remove the default bullet points. I also use display flex to arrange the links horizontally. For the anchor tags, I use text decoration none to remove the default hyperlink underline. I also added a hover effect so the navigation links change appearance when the mouse pointer is placed over them. For the hero content, I also use flexbox. This places the text on the left and the networking image on the right, following the given wireframe. For the heading and paragraph, I applied font sizes, colors, and margins to create proper spacing and visual hierarchy. For the Get Started button, I used display inline block, padding, background color, text decoration, and border radius. I also added a hover effect so the button changes color when the mouse pointer is placed over it. For the hero image, I use width settings so it fits properly inside its container. I also use border radius to create a smooth, rounded corners. For the footer styling, I applied a background color, text alignment, and padding. I also use the container spacing to create more space between the copyright text and the horizontal lines, keeping the footer clean and readable. As shown in the final output, the footer appears at the bottom of the web page and contains the copyright information with proper spacing and alignment. That concludes my presentation of the Networking Basics website. Thank you for watching.